Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. This is Stuart speaking, and I'm going to be talking about tinnitus and why it's so frustratingly difficult to find effective treatments. So, I think that one of the problems with tinnitus is that it has several causes, and quite often, in fact, it seems to me in most cases, unless it's noise induced, because, for example, if you're at a shooting range and you forget to wear your ear protection and you fire a gun. Now, firing a gun, I believe, can produce a sound of up to 160 decibels and can cause quite serious damage to the ears. Now, if you've previously not had tinnitus and you fire a gun, no ear protection, and you experience hearing loss and tinnitus, then it's a no-brainer. You know that your tinnitus is sound induced. So that's fine. Of course, the fact that you've got tinnitus is not fine, but at least you know what it's caused by. But for a lot of us, maybe even most of us, we don't know what the cause is. And in my case, I don't know what the cause of mine is. I had earwax, severe earwax. I also had COVID. Um, I mean, it could be the earwax. It could have been the COVID. Maybe there's some other reason, and it was just a coincidence. Never rule out coincidence. Honestly, don't. A lot of people say, well, it wouldn't just be a coincidence. Well, why not? You can't rule out coincidence. And in a way, that's what this video is about. The difficult aspect of finding treatments for tinnitus because of coincidental improvements. Now, if you look through various websites, sorry, excuse me. I live on a main road, and occasionally there's traffic. I don't know whether you heard the motorbike go past. It's not loud enough to exacerbate my tinnitus, I'm glad to say. But if you are looking at forums and if you're looking at YouTube videos, for example, let me just give you an example. Acupuncture. You go and you look at a YouTube video on acupuncture, and you'll find a mixture of messages. Some people will be saying, I had terrible tinnitus, I went to an acupuncturist, and my tinnitus improved or it even cleared up. Others will be saying, no, it's a waste of time, I tried it and it didn't work for me. So, what can we conclude? Well, there are studies, for example, as an example on acupuncture, there are studies. If you go to, I think it's pubmed.com, you can find these studies. I've looked at them. I've also sort of looked at meta studies on acupuncture. And it seems to be that the people who are doing the studies are acupuncturists. And it's mainly acupuncturists who are claiming that there is clinical evidence to support that acupuncture does help. The British Tinnitus Association have been through the studies, and they've concluded that acupuncture can help with muscle relaxation, but there's no evidence that it helps with anything else. So just coming back to the messages people leave, the anecdotal evidence. The problem is, let me just say, let's take 1,000 people who've got tinnitus around the world and they decide to try acupuncture. Now we know one thing with quite a good degree of certainty, that in a certain percentage of people, even with no treatment, tinnitus either goes away or it improves. There have been some studies, I'll quote them on another video, but there have been some studies. I think the US Army had a big study on, because obviously they're using guns and firing cannons and all sorts of things. A lot of people with noise-induced tinnitus, they kept track of them, and they found that even with no treatment, something like 20% of them experienced tinnitus virtually clearing up. That's 1 in 5 people over a period of time. So let's come back to acupuncture. Remember that, 1 in 5. You've got 1,000 people who've got tinnitus and they try acupuncture, right? Now, based on that figure of 1 in 5, tinnitus are either improving significantly or clearing up, you know that you're going to have 200 people who try acupuncture, who will claim and who will believe that there's a causal connection between their tinnitus improving significantly or clearing up and the acupuncture they've had. When in reality, it's highly likely that those 200 out of 1,000, 20%, remember that figure, would have improved anyway. And you can't rule out that it was coincidence that your tinnitus went into remission and you happened to be having a treatment at the time and you established a connection. It's a bit like when people pray. Somebody says a prayer and a situation improves and they attribute it to the prayer. You're counting the hits, you're not counting the misses, you're disregarding coincidence, the fact that things clear up anyway. Conditions can go into remission, they can improve, they can go away. With some conditions that we know don't go away, for example, let's take stage 3 cancer. Now, I'd be impressed if 10 people who had stage 3 cancer went for acupuncture and 5 of them it cleared up. Then I have to say, well, I think something's going on here, because stage 3 cancer doesn't really go into remission. I mean, it's a march to death once you're at stage 3, as far as I understand. But with tinnitus, because we know that a relatively high proportion of people will get better anyway, it makes evaluating claims much more difficult. And if we take the clinical evidence for, say, acupuncture, and the meta-studies seem to suggest that it's not really much good for anything except relaxation of muscles, then I would treat very skeptically claims from anybody at all that acupuncture improved or cured tinnitus. And that goes not just for acupuncture, it goes for virtually every other treatment that's out there. I made a video about the linear device just a few days ago, and it's the same thing. Because we know that people get better anyway. If you've got a sample of people that have tried the linear device and some have said yes, there's an improvement, you can't rule out coincidence. It's coincidence that they would have had this remission anyway. Just because tinnitus is quite a mysterious kind of condition, and it does seem to clear up sometimes. Unfortunately, for most of us, it doesn't, and that's why there are so many of us on forums looking around for treatments. So I don't want to go on too much longer with this video, but I would like to say to you, treat with extreme caution comments that you see, and don't go out trying all these different supplements and Chinese medicine. And every time you read a comment that, oh, I took, magnesium tablets, and, after a month, my tinnitus was gone. Don't go out and try magnesium and then you try all these different things. Oh, I'll try acupuncture. Somebody said it worked. Oh, I'll try chiropractor. Somebody said that worked as well. I mean, you can't try out everything. And the odds are that most of these treatments and the successes are just coincidence, because people are getting better anyway. And you're not hearing about all the failures. You're hearing about some of them, but when you go to a video, you're seeing maybe 50-50, and you're thinking, oh, well, 50-50 is not bad. I would take that chance. But it's not really 50-50, because you don't know what the true figures are. And the people that claim that it improved, obviously it's only anecdotal. You've only got their word for it. It may not, in a lot of cases, it may not be such a great improvement. It may be just a small improvement, but they're embellishing it. So please don't go out and waste your money, really. Try things which cost next to nothing and are not too much trouble to try. So just to recap, treat with extreme skepticism claims about success with various treatments, particularly when people have got a vested interest in promoting them, like acupuncture, chiropractors, etc. They've all got to earn a living, hypnotherapists, the whole lot. They will tell you that it works because, they're trying to build up trade. And I'm not saying that in itself Well, that in itself is a bad reason if they've got true clinical evidence, but a lot of them will claim anecdotally, well, I've got clients who, and it worked for them. But that's not enough. It's just not enough evidence because tinnitus gets better anyway in a lot of people, as I've said. Well, that's all I've got to say for now. As you'll gather, I'm quite a skeptic where tinnitus is concerned. I've tried some things myself and I've had some success. I will get back to those on my next videos, but that's all for now. Treat success claims linked to particular treatments or supplements with extreme caution before deciding to go out and try them yourself, because it may just be down to coincidence. Bye for now.